9:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Welcome into the Chris Hand Show. We are still looking for the sausages. We'll keep you updated as we continue. I was just saying to Mason off air, I was like, did you hear the Amigos? He's like, oh, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it make it so much funnier that it's said in a British accent?
They sound so official. It's like, maybe we'll actually get them back.
I'm still trying to recover from laughing so much.
If you missed the gang of four amigos, Johnny's going to be podcasting that soon.
Please, yes, they're so good.
Find out what happened to those sausages on the podcast page. We got a lot to get to. So Kamala Harris gave her second interview. First solo interview. Whoa, ooh, big girl steps. Look at that. Look at her doing it all by herself.
Hey, they all got to start somewhere.
We are so proud of her. We're so proud.
so very proud.
Like I feel like I should just give her encouragement the same way I would do it, like for my 2-year-old. Like, wow, you did so good. You did great. Everybody's so impressed with you. First solo interview. She sits down with MSNBC. To be fair, Stephanie Ruhle over at MSNBC, she did push back a little bit. Kamala didn't have any answers for it. Trump was campaigning yesterday in North Carolina. He was hitting all the major points, and I think that this is what I want to start the show with, because this was just an epic moment. And when Trump says this, it's like you feel what he's saying. He's not afraid. He's not backing down. He's not worried about it, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks.
Around the world, our enemies are desperate to prevent Donald Trump from returning to the White House because they know I will make America great again. They don't want that. 4 years ago, our country was feared and respected, and our country will soon be feared and respected again. We have to have that. And that's why we all need to pull together to thwart these attempts and to bring back American strength, power, and prestige. We will soon have it back. No threat will shake me. No enemy will intimidate me. And I have never been more determined than I am today, and I will never back down in my fight to make America great again.
I love it. And that was Trump yesterday in North Carolina. Nothing will shake me. No enemy will intimidate me. Nothing is going to stop me. Man, that defiance is just so America. You know what I mean? Like, just, that guy, man. I love it. I love that he said that yesterday in North Carolina. He had a lot more to say in North Carolina. We're going to get to that as well. Plus, he seems to be doing pretty good in some swing states. There's new polling out that shows Trump is actually rocking things right now. Mayor Eric Adams in New York City indicted. Taking money from Turkey is the rumors that we're hearing. This is a crazy story. It doesn't shock me because he's a Democrat and Democrats doing corrupt things. But I had somebody on Twitter. I said, oh, This bleeper did it. And I had a Democrat hit me up, and he's like, lawfare. That's like, all right, well, let's be on the up and up. Just because a Democrat does something so corrupt and so blatant that he gets caught up in it and indicted, that's not lawfare against him. It also doesn't vindicate the lawfare system that's been going after Donald Trump. It doesn't change that Donald Trump has been attacked nonstop, repeatedly, unreasonably this past, 2 years? So New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted by a grand jury yesterday as part of a federal investigation, according to sources. The indictment against Adams was reported to be sealed, bringing uncertainty surrounding the charges. They're saying that it's going to be unsealed at some point today. It could be unsealed already. We're gonna keep our eyes on that. But the federal investigation against Adams reportedly centers around whether Adams and his campaign conspired with the Turkish government to receive illegal foreign donations. They were rocking with the Turks. Sources reportedly told the New York Post that Adams would allegedly surrender to authorities early next week. Insane. News of the indictment of Adams has made a few Democrats speak out, such as AOC. She's calling for Mayor Eric Adams to resign. On a Twitter post yesterday, she said, "I do not see how Mayor Adams can continue governing New York City. The flood of resignations and vacancies are threatening government function. Nonstop investigations will make it impossible to recruit and retain a qualified administration. For the good of the city, he should resign." You know, she said the quiet part out loud there as to why they always go after Donald Trump. Nonstop investigations will make it impossible to recruit and retain a qualified administration. This is what they tried to do with Donald Trump in the beginning of his presidency with the Russia, with the impeachment hoaxes. And he still was able to build an unbelievable economy, start no new wars, have a thriving 4 years during that first term, even with one arm tied behind his back with the lawfare against him. But AOC calling on Mayor Eric Adams to resign. Mayor Eric Adams is like, "Hey, I didn't do anything." This is literally he released a video statement saying, I didn't do nothing. This is Mayor Eric Adams on the indictments.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false.
You know, I'm just thinking, actually, as I'm hearing this, Mason, can you pull up a sad violin to like lightly play in the background for me? Because I think, I don't know, when you hear him, he's so down and, you know, you're taking money from the Turkish government. I feel like we need some sort of sad violin to accompany this. You know, like the world's smallest violin. You remember those? If you watch on Super Talk TV, you see it. But we need a sad violin to go along with this. This is a sad story. He's not getting money from foreign governments anymore. The jig is up. Poor guy. Poor guy. My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes.
It sounds so much better with that.
If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago, just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
It was much better with the sad violin.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was about to ask for donations for sad puppies. Please send your endorsement today. Help.
I wonder if it would sound, the return of the sausages would sound better with a sad violin. All right, just start that one over for a second. Hang on 1 second. Let's see if this works as well. All right, you ready? All right, start that sad violin for me.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.
Yeah, it works. It works.
100%.
I feel like we could add a sad violin to anything.
Well, it makes it so much better.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.
All right, so Mayor Eric Adams is indicted. Did he do it? We're going to find out. I will say this. I in my mind, before I read any facts into this case, I always go conspiracy. I don't know. Like, I'm like, what do I think could be behind this? You know, what could be behind these federal indictments? And my mind first went to, well, he's been vocal about how illegal aliens are ruining New York City. He's been speaking out against the Democrat Party. Maybe they had enough of it. That's where my mind went immediately. Then the other part of my mind went to Diddy. You know, with everything that's going on with Diddy, there's a lot of rumors that he's going to bring a lot of people down. And, you know, Mayor Eric Adams gave him a key to the city. Have you seen the picture online? This is a real picture. They made the little heart thing with their hands together. Mayor Eric Adams and Diddy. So I was like, maybe Diddy has something to do with this. I don't know if that's even true. But a top campaign fundraiser and aid is also expected to be named in this indictment, where Eric Adams was taking a lot of money from the Turkish government, allegedly. Two more in Mayor Eric Adams' inner circle are expected to be named among others in a historic indictment set to be unsealed this morning. The Post has learned, New York Post. Brianna Suggs, the key fundraiser during his 2021 mayoral campaign, and Winnie Grayco, his director of Asian affairs. They're expected to be named in the indictment. It's unclear whether it's just Suggs and Grayco, if they're going to be charged or just named, but at least three others are also expected to be charged, though the New York Post could not immediately confirm their identities. And I mentioned Diddy a second ago. Have you heard what's going on with him? I mean, I know you've heard what's going on with him, but like the most recent update, apparently he is scared to eat prison food at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn because he's worried that he's going to be poisoned. Oh, and listen, I think that those are reasonable fears. We all know that Epstein didn't kill himself. And we all know that Epstein had a trove of blackmail on very powerful people. Diddy also has a trove of blackmail on very powerful people. Every room in his house where the freak-off parties were happening, you got to go to the freak-off party. If Steer Karmer is looking for a return of the sausages, I would check the freak-out parties. But he said, imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to poison his food, give him a heart attack and die. That is what Diddy is worried about. There's a reporter from the Daily Mail that talked to a former inmate, Larry Levine, who served some hard time in Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Diddy made his home since being busted last week. And he was telling News Nation, imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he died. Levine said it's pretty common for new inmates to gripe about the prison food, just as a staple in so many prison films. But he noted that Combs's food is also going to be cold when he gets it, sitting in the isolation ward. Said they feed people in the shoe last. The food is bland. It's a lot of carbohydrates. It fills you up, but you get sick eating it. There's mold in a lot of that food. Maybe he got sick from the food. That's another possibility. Diddy's thinking that he's getting poisoned. He's getting poisoned. But Democrats are just some of the most corrupt. And so it wouldn't shock me if Mayor Eric Adams is being punished for speaking out about illegal immigration, and he's just as corrupt as all the other Dems, but they decided to get him on that because he's been vocal about illegal immigration in New York City, ruining New York City. But I wish they would apply this same energy to all Democrats. You know, for instance, the Pelosi clan. Have you heard this? Paul Pelosi dumped $500,000 in Visa stock just a few months before the DOJ sued the company for antitrust violations. That's interesting. The Pelosi stock tips never seem to miss. I wish that we could get that same kind of energy that they're bringing against Mayor Eric Adams against the Pelosis. At various critical inflection points in history, members of our government have engaged in trading at a time in which their conflicts are called into question. Paul Pelosi, the husband of Nancy, sold more than $500,000 worth of Visa stock just 3 months before the Department of Justice announced that it would be suing the credit card company for alleged violation of antitrust laws. The DOJ announced the lawsuit Tuesday, charging Visa with creating and maintaining a monopoly in the debit card market. But before the lawsuit was filed, Nancy Pelosi's husband dumped $500,000 in stock. It's interesting, right? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. When Pelosi unloaded his Visa stock, there was no public knowledge that the DOJ was close to dropping charges on the credit card company. But since Attorney General Merrick Garland made the announcement Tuesday, Visa shares have dropped by 5.5% to $272.78 a share. So they dodged a bullet. Those Pelosi's and their luck in the stock market. It's incredible, is it not? On the way on the show today, I want to cover Donald Trump in North Carolina campaigning. He was absolutely on fire. I want to cover this Kamala Harris interview on MSNBC, plus her economic speech, which we're going to do next. She's got plans for the economy. Big, big, big plans. Big plans. And Trump responded on Twitter pretty close after that speech concluding. I'll bring you what Kamala Harris said, and I'll bring you what Trump reacted to on Twitter next. It's 9:21 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
President Biden announces more funding to Ukraine. Also, Hurricane Helene inching closer to Florida. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jeff. It's 9:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris's economic speech that she gave. But first, I had a request for another clip for the sad violin treatment. 5019 wanted to hear this clip from the debate with the sad violin treatment. So can you hit the sad violin?
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
All right, that was pretty good.
The music.
This is my favorite thing ever.
I think this might be a new bit on the show.
I love sad violin
please.
stuff.
Let's just start adding sad violin to everything.
If Trump wins the election, just all the reactions from like CNN, everyone just with the sad violin music in the background.
It's all of them
And a lot of
clapping in
towns
the
don't want to talk.
background.
It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. Did
you hear there's a Haitian group in Springfield, Ohio that's actually filing criminal charges against Trump and Vance over the eating the dogs and eating the cats? You can cut the sad violin. Or we can leave it. It's fun. the leader,
it's just ever present.
The leader of a nonprofit representing the Haitian community invoked a private citizen right to file charges Tuesday against Trump and J.D. Vance over the chaos and threats experienced by Springfield, Ohio, since Trump first spread false claims about legal immigrants there during a presidential debate.
Hold on, real quick. Did you say private citizen?
Yeah.
They filed a private citizen claim.
Invoked a private citizen right to file charges, the leader of a nonprofit representing the Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio.
A private citizen right.
They're called the Haitian Bridge Alliance, and they made the move after inaction by local prosecutors, said their attorney. Well, because all of the bomb threats were hoaxes. The governor went on TV and said 33 bomb threats, 33 hoaxes. That's my best Mike DeWine.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty on point,
That's pretty
right?
good.
We looked at it, and it was 33 hoaxes, 33. All fake.
It rubs me the wrong way when I hear that they're asking for citizen rights when they're not here legally.
Well,
this doesn't sound right.
They tell us that they're here legally because Kamala Harris took an illegal action to take inadmissible aliens and give them temporary protected status. She waved her magic wand and said, "Welcome to Springfield." That's what she said. Nice. Kamala Harris was giving her economic vision yesterday in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, on building a strong middle class. And this was the biggest takeaway from that speech was when Kamala Harris said this.
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
Yeah, we all agree. We'll cover this a little bit more after the news with Jeff Malinoff, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:30. I'm Jeff Malinoff with your top stories. It's 68 degrees. Going to get up to the high 70s later on today. That forecast is on the way. President Joe Biden is at the White House with Ukraine President Zelensky today and announced more assistance to Ukraine for the war against Russia. ABC's Karen Travers with more.
Ahead of his meeting in the Oval Office today with President Zelensky, President Biden announced what he's calling a surge in security assistance for Ukraine in order to help the country win its war against Russia. The president authorized $5.5 billion that was set to expire from the Presidential Drawdown Authority to provide Ukraine with weapons and equipment from existing U.S. stockpiles. The Defense Department also announced $2.4 billion to help provide Ukraine with new weapons. The president also directed the Pentagon to expand F-16 training for Ukrainian pilots. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Florida residents along the Panhandle are bracing for the impact of Hurricane Helene later today, with time running out for many seek shelter elsewhere before the storm arrives. ABC's Whit Johnson with the latest.
You might remember Hurricane Idalia caused significant flooding in this area. Flooding always an issue here, so that's why officials are so concerned with this one. Transportation getting out of Tampa is also increasingly becoming difficult. The Tampa International Airport shut down this morning to commercial and cargo traffic at 2 a.m. It's expected to remain closed until Friday.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jeff Malinoff, WTN News.
Thank you, Jeff. It's 9:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Come on, Helene. That hurricane is heading our way. And if you have waterproofing issues in your basement or your crawl space or in your home, you are absolutely dreading it right now. And I don't blame you. Like, that's the last thing you want when rain comes is water getting in your house. But there's a way to fix it. Be proactive. Call my friends at United Structural Systems right now. They're your waterproofing experts, and they've been your waterproofing experts in Middle Tennessee since 1994. So when the rain comes, maybe you don't see it right away. Maybe you don't know you have this issue, but you might see the warning signs. The warning signs are going to look like this: standing water in your crawl space, wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floor. That is your house trying to tell you something. Call USS. They'll come out and take a look, create a custom solution for your home, and they won't leave until you're satisfied and the job is done. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. 25,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Being in this industry for decades proves their effectiveness. 615-488-7855. Online at USSTN.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
9:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I'll follow you back. We got a big party coming up October the 1st. Hop Springs, Murfreesboro, Waltz v. Vance.
It's going to be hype.
It's going to be so good. We got the debate watch party, and we got Fox Nation joining us, okay? Our friends at the Glock store, they're sponsoring the event. And you know what the guys at the Glock store said?
What'd they say?
So we got to step this thing up a bit.
Oh, yeah?
That's what they said.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, what do you mean? So we're going to have a blast. And they're like, no, I know we're going to have a blast. But, like, we want to give some stuff away.
Ooh.
So they got some raffle prizes that they're going to be giving away.
Nice.
First prize, Glock 43X MOS. Pretty good. Second prize, a 3-session range card. That's money.
That's great.
I think I'm like torn on which one's a better price.
I was like, I don't have a personal firearm yet.
Well, you got to get one.
Yeah, I was like, I've been meaning to get out there.
Christmas is coming. You keep producing the show good. Maybe I'll get you a Christmas gift.
Fingers crossed.
But that range card that they're going to give away, I'll tell you what, those skills that you learn in those training sessions at the Glock store,
killer.
It's what do I always say behind the scenes? I'm like, learn something that people can't take away from you.
100%. 100%.
This is one of those things. Learn a skill that nobody can take from you, and that's what they'll provide you at the Glock store. And then they also have a Glock store tactical rehydration device.
Ooh.
Like a nice mug.
Yeah.
Nice, sweet. So Glock store, shout out to those guys. They're bringing the prizes to our debate watch party.
It'd be great if the mug's handle was a Glock as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. So we're very excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're very excited.
I get to be there this time. It's going to be hype.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Kamala Harris, she gave her economic speech yesterday in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and she's talking about building a stronger middle class. And you know what? Kamala Harris is just your average Joe. She showed up to that economic speech talking about building a stronger middle class, wearing her $60,000 necklace again. So I don't know about you, but nothing says like I'm one of the guys like wearing an accessory that's worth more than my car. You know?
Me and her, we're just the same. It's the same.
Nothing says I'm going to rebuild the middle class than wearing a necklace worth more than the average salary of your average American.
That's definitely more than I make, for sure.
It really gleans you to the community, you know? I'm one of you.
We all feel like one.
I too have been hurt by this economy. What a clown. Somebody just needs to tell her, like, don't wear a $60,000 necklace. Just don't.
Well, she couldn't afford the $70,000 one, so she's just like us.
Times are tough. Times are tough. Oh my gosh. So Kamala Harris, this is who the Dems are stuck with. I was gonna say this is who we're stuck with, but we're not stuck with her yet. We're not stuck with her yet.
If that's her version of a middle class, I want to be there.
No, I still listen. I don't think we're going to be stuck with her.
No,
I think we're looking pretty good in the election, and there's a few things that have really made me feel good about it. One of the things that's made me feel really good, and this is, we'll get into the Kamala speech in a second, but just why I feel good about where we are in the presidential race. How about this? Mail-in voting has cratered in 3 states. Okay? Let me explain to you why I think this is huge. In Florida, requests for mail-in ballots are down by 5%. But that's Florida. Like, whatever. Put Florida aside. I don't think that's as big of a deal. However, in North Carolina, which is a battleground state, requests for mail-in ballots are down almost 15%. What? Who votes by mail? Oh, that's right. That's right. That side does. Now, listen, I'm not knocking you if you vote by mail. I'm not knocking you if you want to vote early. I understand the logic behind voting early. I'm still going to be a day of guy. That's my style. I can't get away from it. I don't want to send it in the mail. I have very low trust. I have trust issues, and sending a ballot in the mail, I just can't do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just letting you know why I can't. But in North Carolina, key battleground state, request for mail-in voting has cratered by 15%. You want to hear something even better? Even better than 15% in North Carolina? In Pennsylvania, requests for mail-in ballots has declined by a whopping 35%. 35%. Yo, that's massive. That is absolutely massive. We need Pennsylvania. And their requests for mail-in ballots have dropped by 35%. I don't know if you follow Polymarket, but in Pennsylvania, Polymarket's like the big betting site for who's going to win the presidency. Donald Trump has officially flipped Pennsylvania on the political betting platform Polymarket. This is just after he announced his return to Butler, Pennsylvania. That's going to be on October 5th. I actually have a friend going to that rally. Graham Allen, he hosts the podcast Dear America. He's going to that Butler, Pennsylvania rally, and I've already coordinated with him. He's going to be checking in with the show that Monday, October 7th, to let us know what went down at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, what the atmosphere was like on the ground, et cetera. But yeah, we already locked that in. So after Trump announces that he's going back to Butler, Pennsylvania, where the site of the first assassination attempt, Polymarket has flipped Pennsylvania, the political betting platform, in his favor. Trump has also received favorable polls in PA over the past week. RMG research has it tied. Susquehanna polling has it tied. Redfield and Wilton has it tied. Muhlenberg College has it tied. And if you think Trump can win Georgia and North Carolina, which I think he can, Pennsylvania then is the only other toss-up state that he would need to get to 270. I feel really good. I do. Anything can happen. We got to keep it too big to rig, but I feel good. And the more Kamala Harris talks, the better I feel. I don't know if you've noticed this. I just, anytime this woman talks, I feel really good. This is Kamala Harris in Harrisburg, PA, talking about her economic plan yesterday while wearing, again, a $60,000 necklace, an accessory that is worth more than my car. You know, really selling middle class and American dreams.
We need to guard that spirit. We have to guard that spirit.
Why does she always talk like a pre-K teacher? You notice that? She talks like she's speaking to children every time.
She's used to talking down on people.
Fair.
Because she's in the middle class.
She's in the middle class. I'm like, yeah.
Let it always inspire us. Let it always be the source of our optimism, which is that spirit that is so uniquely American. And let that then inspire us by helping us to be inspired to solve the problems that so many face, including our small business owners.
32 seconds in that clip, and she says a whole lot of nothing. I love how she says, this is what makes us American. This is it. She knows a lot about that, especially from her time in Canada growing up. But, And then she had this doozy.
We need to guard that.
Oh, wrong one. This one right here.
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
Yeah, I agree. The Trump campaign should run this ad nauseum. They need to put I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message on the end of it. We need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work. Yes, you've been in control for the last 3.5 years. Your economic policies have been proven to not work. You're right. We do need to move past it. It's just such a weird flex how she's always like, we gotta turn the page, guys. We got to chart a new way forward. You're in office now. Turning the page is turning the page away from you. I agree we need to do it, but I don't think that's what she means. But they always do this kind of stuff. They always do this kind of stuff. They say a line, and it's like, do you understand that what you're saying is actually it's on our side? Do they get that? I mean, Tim Walz said it the other day. He said, we can't afford 4 more years of Trump. This one I gave the ad treatment.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I mean, honestly, that's what we need on everything.
I'm Donald Trump, and
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. So when Kamala says,
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
yeah, yep. It's like, well, we're already voting for the guy. You don't have to sell us. Like when Kamala was talking about mass deportations, it's the same energy.
Now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I mean, do they not understand that these talking points we're actually in agreement with? We agree. We agree. Donald Trump, after this economic speech, he responded on Twitter, what felt like almost immediately. And he responded on Twitter by saying with that clip, when she says we need to move past these failed economic policies, right? We need to get away from this. Donald Trump quoted that video, posted it on his Twitter, and wrote, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And then he followed up by posting ads against Kamala Harris on the economy. This is what those sounded like. Oh, I needed audio. Here we go. This is what the ads he was posting sounded like.
Inflation is a disaster. Kamala's inflation nightmare continues to cost the average American family every single month.
Loaf of bread cost 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I mean, that's it. That's the ad. It's beautiful. It's poetry. It's poetry. Kamala Harris also sat down for another interview, her first one-on-one interview since becoming the Democratic nominee. It's insane. We're almost at the end of September. We're at the end of September.
How long did she go, though? Was it 5 minutes this time?
I don't know how long this one lasted. I'm going to look that up. That's a good question. I was too flabbergasted by the clips. I think you're going to be flabbergasted by these clips, too. Even the interviewer from MSNBC, of course it's MSNBC, Stephanie Rule, said, well, Kamala dodged questions. Spoiler alert, she didn't answer anything we asked her. It's 9:51 on Super Talk. We'll get to these clips on the way. Hang out with us. It's WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
A Nashville daycare center in the news again for all the wrong reasons. Also, second quarter GDP has been released. Those stories coming up at 10 a.m. on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jeff. It's 9:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We have the best listeners. The best listeners. So I said a little while ago, I said, find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. I'll follow you back. So I'm going through my Instagram page, and I'm not going to put her on blast, but one of our listeners that followed me, I go to follow her back, and Instagram says, "Are you sure you want to follow this person? They often post false information." I was like, "Yup." Now I want to follow her more.
Intrigued.
I want to follow her 100 times more. Do they understand that stuff just backfires? That the Streisand effect is too strong?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes you more interested.
Exactly.
And I'm also like, so she probably actually posts a lot of truth just too early in the narrative for the mainstream media.
It's like, hey, that's out of our storyline.
Yeah.
You gotta pull that back a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, all right, yeah, I actually do want to follow her. Thanks, Instagram. Follow me if you can, at Chris Hand on Air on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram. This Kamala Harris interview is something special. But before we get into the lowlights from Kamala, middle class Cam, which what I'm calling her from now on, with her $60,000 necklace, middle class Cam, Stephanie Rule, who gave the interview, was on MSNBC saying, she didn't answer any questions.
She doesn't answer the question around if the GOP is controlling the Senate, if she can't raise corporate taxes, where is she going to get the money from, to expand the child tax credit and do all the things she wants to do. And she says, we just have to do it.
Well, that's nice. Well, don't worry about the money. We'll borrow it from China. That's where we'll get it. We'll get a quick payday loan from China.
And that's great, and that's a campaign promise. But the issue is, if it means we're just going to borrow again, then what we're doing is we're just never addressing the deficit. And back in the days when you were a proud Republican, debts and deficits mattered.
Yeah, well, I still think they do. Kamala Harris doesn't. She doesn't. And you'll understand that when we play the highlights from her MSNBC interview, who even the interviewer was disappointed with the answers. We'll do that next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
China
It's 10 o'clock. I'm Jeff Malinoff with your top stories. It's 70 degrees right now. Expect rain later on tonight. That full forecast in 2 minutes. News in Nashville. Franklin Springs Academy in Chapel Hill, a daycare that was in the news in the past after allowing a teacher to keep working with kids a year after pulling a child off a table by the back of her hair. The worker was later convicted of child abuse and neglect. They were also in the news when the owner's husband was arrested on rape charges involving an underage victim. It is in the news again for not paying their employees. Amanda Hara from WSMV Channel 4 interviewed one of the employees who had her check bounce.
Check started bouncing, and it was like first come, first serve, so whoever could make it to the bank first was able to get their money.
State records show Franklin Springs Academy received multiple federal grants worth more than $500,000. It was all part of the American Rescue Plan Act, designed to support child care centers during and after COVID.
The second quarter GDP reports show an increase. Here's ABC's Derek Dennis.
Bolstered by strong consumer spending, the nation's gross domestic product grew by 3% in the second quarter of the year, a faster pace than analysts had expected. The GDP measures the market value of all goods and services produced in the country and is often a barometer for economic health. The growth is also notable with regard to the pandemic, showing a 5.5% second quarter increase from 2020 through 2023, indicating the U.S. economy has bounced back in stronger shape than predicted. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jeff Malinoff, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can watch the show wherever you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's Super Talk TV. You can listen to us with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. If you missed something from the show, want to share it with a friend, you can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and that 99.7 WTN app. Rate everything 5 stars. Hit the subscribe button. All the things. Appreciate you. Our friend Glenn in Nashville just got back from Michigan and wants to talk about Project 2025. He's on the hotline right now. What's up, Glenn?
I just got back from Michigan, and every radio station up there at the beginning of every commercial spot is playing 2025, Project 2025, and they are pushing fear-mongering.
Where in Michigan were you?
Well, I started in Flint.
Okay.
I went to Dearborn, and then to Petoskey, and I just flew back from Flint.
So were you listening to WWJ 950 AM?
No, I didn't listen to any AM. I was listening to all FM. But I listened to 6 different stations, and every commercial spot was the Democrats pushing 2025 and how Trump is going to take over the United States. He's going to get revenge, and he's going to take away all rights from women and make the government report on every birth.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, it doesn't shock me that they're going full Project 2025 fear campaign in Michigan. They are terrified about losing Michigan right now after the Muslim Democrat mayor from Hamtramck, a city with a 60% Muslim population. He's the guy that is leading the Abandon Biden, now the Abandon Kamala movement, endorsed Trump. I think that they're terrified. I really do. I think Michigan is absolutely in play. And you can even go to what you're seeing with, you know, all the union workers supporting Trump. Like they're terrified of losing Michigan, so they have to lean on fear. That's just a classic move.
Well, what shocked me is there was no other commercial spots for the Democrats. Just Project 2025, radio, TV.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they must have focus grouped that and realized it was playing really well, so they went for it. I appreciate the call, Glenn. I appreciate the swing state update, if you will. Here's the thing. You're going to hear those ads in all the swing states. I'm going, so in a couple weeks, I'm going to be off the week after the debate, and I'm going to North Carolina with my fam. We're going to go hit the beach, and I'm really excited, but I'm bringing MAGA hats for everyone. And I'm going to have conversations with everybody about voting for Trump. We have to in these swing states because, you know, the Democrats are all over there. And they're probably pushing Project 2025 in North Carolina as well. Donald Trump put out a post on Twitter about Kamala's Project 2025. Did you know Kamala has a Project 2025 too? Let me tell you what Kamala's Project 2025 is, according to Donald J. Trump. He posted this on Twitter last night around 10 o'clock. It has 21 million views already. It's insane. Absolutely insane, the digits this guy is getting on his posts. This is Kamala's Project 2025, according to Trump. Citizenship for 20 million illegals. That checks out. Ban gas-powered cars. Replace police with social workers. Yep. Ban fracking. Transgender surgeries for minors. This is disgusting, but well within what she wants to do. Taxpayer-funded reparations. Pack the U.S. Supreme Court. Government and big tech censorship. Cashless bail for violent criminals. Federal takeover of all elections. Using tax dollars to fund abortions. Enforced racist affirmative action. Mandate vaccinations. And require government approval to buy a gun. That's Kamala Harris's Project 2025. Much more terrifying than what they're saying the Republicans are pushing. And Kamala is trying to disavow her Project 2025 every step of the way as best she can as well. But listen, we know what Kamala's plans are. She's laid them out on video multiple times. She's doing the classic flip-flop, but we know. We know. She sat down with an interview with MSNBC and Stephanie Ruhle. And Stephanie Ruhle understands that Kamala is dodging questions. She said that in an interview on MSNBC. It was like, yeah, the interview was great, but she didn't answer any questions. She didn't. And one of the questions that she dodged was about expanding the child tax credit, how you're going to pay for this stuff, especially if the GOP controls the Senate. And this is what Kamala Harris had to say, or not say, I guess would be the best way to put it.
expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, first of all, she has this perplexed look on her face. Like, what do you mean, where am I going to get the money? We print the money. Don't you understand? We get the money from the Federal Reserve. The money machines go burr, and then we use the money. Do you not understand how printing money works, Stephanie? That's the look that Kamala Harris has on her face. While again, she's wearing her $60,000 necklace, middle class Cam.
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and
we're gonna have to raise corporate taxes. Well, where are the corporations going to go at that point?
And we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share.
They pay a lot of taxes. They pay a lot more than you and I. I don't want to be the defending corporations guy, but she's going to drive these corporations out of the country with this plan.
Fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success.
She just wants to tax it once you reach that success.
But everyone should pay their fair share, and it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet
Okay. The teachers and the firefighters that I meet, she went and visited a fire station on 9/11, right? In Pennsylvania. That's what she's referring to. I meet people every day. You went on 9/11 in Pennsylvania, and the fire station, they turned their backs on you. They didn't greet you. They made Biden put on a Trump hat, and then they gave a standing ovation when Trump walked into the same firehouse. So when she says the firefighters and the teachers that I meet, are we talking about the same firefighters?
that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
Percentages. She's talking about percentages. Okay. They're paying a higher tax. They're paying a higher tax. So then Stephanie Rule says to her, okay, well, how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but not leaving the country?
And how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country?
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs.
Somebody fact check that. Kamala works with a lot of CEOs.
I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share.
So the CEOs that Kamala Harris is hanging out with are saying, listen, we actually, believe it or not, we would enjoy paying more taxes. Okay. I mean, that's a hot take, right? I don't know. Do we have any CEOs listening? Is there any CEO out there that would like to pay more taxes? Maybe I'm wrong. 615-737-9986. Any CEO out there that wants to pay more taxes, wants to pay their fair share, please call us. We'll anxiously await your call.
They also agree that when we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits.
Everyone's going to benefit. Everyone's going to benefit when we make these corporations pay their fair share and then flee the country. Guys, everyone is going to benefit from this. Everyone. It's funny, though, because this is in, stark contrast to what Donald Trump said yesterday when he was in Georgia about how Kamala is going to tax these corporations.
But she is offering to companies to entice them to keep jobs in America instead of shipping jobs overseas. First, she wants to listen to this. She's called the tax queen. They love her.
That's the best nickname. Middle class Cam, the tax queen.
In other countries, because she forces everybody out of our country into their hands. The tax queen is demanding a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. Now, You can hate companies and all that, but they fuel growth and they fuel jobs, they fuel everything.
Yep.
You tell these companies, they don't care. They just assume be in Europe. They just assume they don't care. They want to go best price, it's called, best deal. And they're going to leave our country in droves if she does that.
Where is he wrong? And what smart CEO is going to hang around here for more taxes with Kamala Harris if they can go to another country, a tax haven, and not pay taxes? Why would they stay? Why would they stay? And what's that going to do to American jobs? Oh, they're going to go out of the country with them.
It's nice to say you're going to pay 33% more. And one day you'll read, oh, gee, so-and-so, they just signed with China. They just signed with Germany. They just signed with Great Britain is dying to have. They'll give you free tax. Next, she wants the largest capital gains tax in the history of our country. We've never had a tax.
Tax queen.
And then she's telling people, build your place here, but we're going to have a brand new wealth confiscation tax. So if you make money, you're going to pay us a lot. But more importantly, it's called an unrealized capital gain. You know what that is? That means that you're going to pay a capital gain even if you haven't realized it, even if you haven't sold. So a lot of people are rich, but they don't have cash. Now they're going to have to get cash because if their thing goes up in value, they have to pay a massive tax. You're going to have deterioration. You're going to have a depression. If that happens, you have a 1929 style depression.
That's Donald Trump on Kamala Harris's plans to make CEOs pay their fair share. Warren is on the road. He's the CEO of a company. You don't have to say the company if you don't want to, but Warren, would you like to pay more taxes for your company?
No, Chris, would not. No, Chris, I would not like to pay more taxes than I'm legally entitled to pay, I guess. I'm the CEO of my own company. It's called My Personal Household Finance, and I don't want to pay any more taxes than I'm legally obligated to. And they always tell you that to pay your fair share, but they never give you a numerical value of what that is.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Mike. Warren, I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the call. Let's go to Mike in Spring Hill on CEOs paying their fair share. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I listened to exactly what she said, and she said the CEOs agree people should pay their fair share. The CEOs did not say they agree to pay a higher corporate tax. So, she's mincing words and basically lying. I mean, everybody agrees, yeah, pay your fair share, but the CEOs did not say they agree to pay a higher corporate tax.
Fair enough. Appreciate the call, Mike. We got a lot of Mikes calling in. There's two other Mikes on the line. Mike in Clarksville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
Hey, I'm in traffic here, but I just wanted to say the way I understand the tax code, corporations don't actually pay taxes. They pass their taxes on to their customers. So every time a Democrat claims that the tax bill is going to come out of the corporations and not out of your pocket, it's not really true.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Appreciate the call, Mike. All right, last Mike in Bethpage on taxes. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate you taking my call. Real quick, I'm retired military, and I know Trump is saying tax cuts if he's elected on Social Security and
no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime work, no tax on tips. Yep.
Okay, well here's my thing. If I can get a hold of him, or if I could meet him, I'd tell him this right here. If I fought 2 wars for this country, I think if veterans that deployed to combat zones, we shouldn't have to pay taxes.
Amen. I would jump on that in a heartbeat. And thanks for your service, Mike. I think that's something he should push. I'll send a message to people that know people, and hopefully we can get that on the way there. I think that would be clutch. And you know what? We don't take care of our veterans in this country the way we should at all.
Oh no.
It's downright disgraceful. And it's also going to create a lack of preparedness in the future. You have generations of men who have had their entire family in the military, and I don't know if that's similar to your family, but
it is. I mean, we go all the way back to the Civil War. I mean,
but would you suggest to your kids today to enlist?
No.
See, and this is the exact problem. Because we have generations of men that have done this and are soldiers and good at this. It's in their blood. And the way that we're treating our veterans is effectively stopping that dead in its tracks. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, all the vets out there, I'm Marine, Simplified. God bless. Have a good weekend, brother, and take care.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Thank you for your service. That's Mike and Beth Page. We love our veterans. A couple nights ago we had a client appreciation party where we're all the sponsor of the stations came, and I got to talk to David Corlew from the Journey Home Project, and that was our topic of conversation. The way that our veterans are treated in this country is disgraceful. And Kamala Harris is giving this interview on MSNBC. She's saying, "Oh, we're gonna make these corporations pay their fair share in taxes. It's gonna hurt everyone in this country," and she's doing it wearing a $60,000 necklace. She doesn't have any plans on how we're going to get our homeless veterans the help that they need. She's got a plan for Amnesty, though. She's got a plan for the illegal aliens. I'll bring you what she said about the illegal aliens next. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Israel's prime minister turns down Biden EU ceasefire plan. Also, Mayor Adams charges unsealed. Those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Mayor Adams. Well, maybe we'll have to bring back the sad violin later when we read the charges.
I'm here for it.
Is it against the rules to play a sad violin during the newscast?
I think so. All
right.
I have to talk to Ken.
I don't know. It's a 2-minute bumper. We might be able to hit the 2-minute news.
we'll drop a line with management, see if we're allowed to do sad violin during the official newscast. Kamala Harris, she's got a plan. Her plan is to tax the living crap out of everyone and everything. And then she might tax the taxes also. She's the tax queen, as Donald Trump says. No word on a plan for how she's going to help our veterans. No word there.
Obviously.
But she does have a plan for the illegal aliens. Yep, she does. And that plan includes amnesty.
There are people there that are stressed, that feel that they're at capacity. Communities around the country that have legal immigration, many have said we're at capacity.
Yeah, looking at you, Charleroi, Pennsylvania. Looking at you, Springfield, Ohio. Looking at you, Whitewater, Wisconsin. Looking at you, small towns of America, who didn't ask for these Haitians to be dropped off, or these illegal immigrants with their temporary protected status from the magic wand of Kamala Harris. Nobody asked for it. And they've reached their threshold. What's the plan? What's the plan, Madam President?
And many feel like the government has said to them, well, adapt, sit down, be quiet. This is how it is.
Oh, I think that's nice. I feel like many in the government have said, you're a racist and a bigot. It's not happening, and it's a good thing it's happening.
What would a Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants but are at capacity?
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system, and it needs to be fixed. And if we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill that would have put 1,500 new border agents on the border to help those hardworking border agents who are there right now working around the clock.
Heck of a pivot. Listen, I hear your question, but I'm going to start with blaming Trump. I'm going to blame. I hear your question, but real quick, Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. I played a clip from Tom Homan yesterday, and Tom was like, guys, 5,000 illegal aliens a day is the cap, and you have a carve out for unlimited, unaccompanied minors. You'd be fueling illegal immigration with that border bill. The border agents that she's talking about would be for processing, catch and release, so that they could send more migrants to small town America. What? That's her plan. Orange Man bad. Oh, and amnesty.
Would have put more money into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing Americans around our country and devastating communities.
Yeah, she cares about fentanyl now.
Would have put more resources into our ability to prosecute transnational criminal organizations, which in my career I've prosecuted.
Oh, so that's why Tren de Aragua has taken over apartment complexes all over the country, because it's Trump.
Donald Trump got word of the bill, realized it was going to fix a problem he wanted to run on, and told him to kill the bill, don't put it up for a vote. He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Orange Man bad.
And that's part of what needs to be addressed. And my pledge is that when elected president, if the American people will have me, I
don't think we're going to have you. You're uninvited, but go ahead with your plan.
I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship.
Yeah, don't bury the lead. Kamala Harris is all for amnesty. She's all for amnesty. She wants to bring more migrants in. And it's going to drive up your housing costs, your rent. In fact, there's a guy, the video is going viral right now. The account I meme, therefore I am. I don't know if you follow that on Twitter. I do, and I've retweeted this. This guy owns an Airbnb. Wait until you hear what the federal government has offered him for his Airbnb to house migrants. Wait until you hear how much money they offered this guy. I'll play it for you after the news with Jeff Malinoff. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 10:30. I'm Jeff Malinoff with your top stories. It's 72 degrees. Expect some rain later on tonight. That full forecast in 2 minutes. Things escalating in the Middle East, with the Israeli Prime Minister set to arrive in New York today for his UN address tomorrow. With Israel rejecting the latest ceasefire plan by Biden and the EU, here's ABC's Ian Pannell.
I think it's fair to say growing fears here that far worse is yet to come. That Netanyahu statement almost immediately pouring cold water on the Biden administration's EU ceasefire plan. The Israeli foreign minister just tweeting there will be no ceasefire in the north.
An update on the indictment of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The charges have been released. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams have just been unsealed. He is accused of bribery, soliciting improper foreign campaign contributions, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. These are very serious charges that expose the mayor to significant prison time if convicted. He is maintaining his innocence, suggesting this is a political hit job. He says the charges are entirely false and that he's innocent.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jeff Malinoff, WTN News.
Thank you, Jeff. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Grab yourself a pen, okay? If you have health insurance or you don't have health insurance, but you want health insurance and you don't want to pay out of your nose, call my friend Shane Ring at Cover Nash, 615-465-0023. You're not going to find good health insurance just searching the internet. You need a guy that has access to all of the plans, and that's what Shane has. He has access to everything. So if you're looking for coverage, don't go online for quotes. You're going to get endless calls from call centers. They're not going to stop. Shane Ring has over 20 years of experience, and he's going to provide you sound advice for your health insurance needs. Now, their plans, if you qualify, will let you pick your own doctor and are 30 to 60% lower in cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there's going to be no surprise tax bills. If you're paying for your own health insurance, if you own a small business, if you're uninsured, if you're on COBRA, or if your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Shane Ring, 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, or hit the website covernash.com.
He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And that's part of what needs to be addressed. And my pledge is that when elected president, if the American people will have me, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship.
Yeah, that's always been the plan, hasn't it? Mass amnesty. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 1036. My name is Chris Hand. That was Kamala Harris doing her first solo interview since becoming the Democrat candidate. Her first. It's almost October. What? This is not a serious candidate. This is not a serious person. She's talking about mass amnesty, creating pathways for people to earn citizenship. Remember when we said that they're importing all of these illegal aliens because they want them to become citizens and then vote for the Democrats? You remember that? Then what did they tell us? They said, you're conspiracy theorists. It's not happening. You're crazy. It's a good thing that it's happening. We need these people for jobs. That's what we were told. No. The Democrats need these people for votes. And that's what they're betting on. That's why they're letting them fly in. That's why Kamala Harris is on MSNBC talking about amnesty. Trump needed a problem to run on. Well, you guys created the problem. The left created this problem. And it's a massive problem. It's helping drive up prices everywhere, including rent. There's a local government offering a real estate investor $10,000 a month to rent his Airbnb property out to illegal aliens. You have to hear this video. Going viral all over Twitter. I've retweeted it on my page, at Chris Hand on Air, so that way you can share it with your friends. This guy has Airbnbs all over the country. And a local government offered him $10K a month to house illegal aliens. He presented them a counteroffer, too. Listen to this.
A county and state that one of my Airbnbs is in is offering me $10,000 a month to house illegal aliens. This one is too crazy not to share, and I'm, for right now, going to protect the anonymity of these locations. Because I might do it. Because the rent on this house to a long-term rental to people in the United States that would need housing, as a lot of people say, is between $1,800 and $2,500.
Are you following along? The house that he has, a long-term rental, would be $1,800 to $2,500. The local government wants him to take in illegal aliens, so they're offering him $10,000 a month. This is why housing costs are going out of control, you guys. It's stuff like this. And I can't even blame the guy. If you got rental properties, you're a real estate investor, and somebody offers you at least four times what the rent could be per month, why wouldn't you think about taking that? I don't blame this guy at all. And in fact, I give him credit for even releasing this statement on the internet. He continues.
It's a very nice house in a decent area. There's good and bad parts of this area, and that's why the rent isn't that much long term. And on Airbnb, it makes about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. It's a bigger house, so they can obviously fit more people, and it's furnished, which they really, really like. Now, this is the first reach out I've gotten about this. I've heard of like 2 other Airbnb hosts getting this, but just crazy numbers. And it's crazy all around. Like, 1, where is this money coming from? 2, why are we paying for it? 3, like, I will gladly take it, but we're not housing our own citizens.
Yep.
This isn't a political post. This is a what is going on post.
Yeah. It's America last, right? Not America first. It's not about our citizens. It's about everyone else's citizens. It's about your tax dollars. It's definitely about your tax dollars. He continues.
So comments, if you work in any sort of housing development for your town, your city, your state, whatever, I'm actually curious what is going on. Is your area doing this too?
I'm curious as well. You know, we have a lot of Airbnbs here in Nashville. We do. It's a booming area for it. Is there anybody out there that has an Airbnb that's received an offer like this? Anybody? maybe down in Manchester, maybe in Nashville. I'm just curious. $10,000 a month to rent his Airbnb property to illegal aliens. And he's considering the deal because it would be upwards of 4 times as much than he could make as a regular long-term rental. And it's about 40% more than he could make if he kept it as an Airbnb. He said he makes $5,000 to $6,000 a month as just a regular Airbnb. They're offering him $4,000 to $5,000 more than that. Of course he's considering it. He's a real estate investor.
There's one, is this an investment type opportunity? I replied to them and I said I would do it if you paid in full in 2 full years. So basically write me a check for $240,000. And they're actually considering doing it.
What? He told the local government, if you pay me in full up front for 2 years, I'll do it. $240K. That local government is considering it. What? What happens if the illegal aliens burn down the house after the first month?
They can burn the house down. I'd make the value of the house back. Absolutely crazy.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Kamala Harris doesn't want to slow this down. She doesn't want to stop it. She wants to grant them citizenship. Absolute insanity. Kamala Harris wasn't asked any questions like that from Stephanie Ruhle on MSNBC. Nope. She wasn't asked about the concerns of parents all over the country for their children because of the illegal alien gangs that are flooding the country. Nope. She just gave her an opportunity to blame Trump, and Kamala Harris took that opportunity gladly. And parents have a right to be worried. In Loudoun County, Virginia, there's an illegal alien high school student who is he's been caught toting guns, and he's linked to MS-13. So even the kids that they're putting in these schools, these unaccompanied minors, they're linked to gangs. Parents are concerned about the situation, and the school district has not been transparent. Well, a classic, that's Loudoun County. If you remember, Loudoun County is the same school district where a boy went into the girls' room dressed as a girl and raped a female student. Not once, but twice. And then when the father was upset about it at the school board meeting, they arrested him. That's Loudoun County for you. Now, an illegal immigrant minor was arrested last year for carrying a gun and allegedly threatening to kill a fellow Virginia middle school student. A new report revealed that the suspect has affiliation with MS-13. Sources with knowledge of the matter told local ABC 7 News. The student came to the country illegally, and he's now enrolled at Loudoun Valley High School, despite the fact that he was arrested in May of 2023 for an incident at Blue Ridge Middle School where he threatened another middle school student with death and was carrying a firearm, this illegal alien with links to MS-13. So they didn't kick him out of the school. They just swept it under the rug. Coming to a school near you. The sheriff's department asserted it was taking the matter seriously and confirmed there's MS-13 activity in the county, but indicated the situation is complex. That doesn't sound too complex to me. On Monday at a Loudoun County School Board meeting, all 7 board members refused to answer questions about the migrant student. That checks out. That tracks. That sounds about right. One of the reporters there asked the school board, "Are you comfortable with a student attending Loudoun Valley High School this year who previously threatened to kill a fellow student and was arrested for carrying a gun? And what are you doing as a school board member to keep students safe from violence, gun violence, and gang activity at Loudoun Valley High School and other schools?" No comment. It's just crazy to me. So, do you remember the story in Florida? There was a kid that apparently put some threats out on the group text with other students, and they arrested this kid, and they showed video of his supposed arsenal, and it's all airsoft guns. You remember this? Me and Mason, we were looking at it in the back, and I was like, I felt bad for the kid because kids do stupid things, right? He doesn't have any real weapons. He said something dumb in a group text, and I was like, man, you just can't be an idiot as a kid anymore. But this is different. This minor was arrested last year for carrying a gun and threatening to kill a fellow middle school student, is an illegal alien, and he has ties to MS-13, a brutal, vicious, vile gang. The gang prefers to use machetes. I'm not sure why he had a firearm, but nonetheless, there's no perp walk for this kid. There's no leftists screaming that our schools are unsafe, screaming to disarm people. No, you're not even allowed to ask the school board questions about it. It gets swept under the rug. And these are the same people that Kamala Harris wants to grant mass amnesty to. Get real. Get real. Kamala Harris is, she's a clown. She's an absolute clown. And she called for mass amnesty during that interview on MSNBC. Insanity. During another portion of the interview with Kamala Harris on MSNBC, they went back to the economy, and she was asked point blank, hey, the polling shows that people trust Trump more than you on the economy. Why do you think that is?
Polling shows that most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
I love the surprised look from Stephanie Rule. Why do you think that is? What could be the reason? Who knows? So weird, right? Am I right? Well, because we remember what it was like between 2016 and 2021 when we all had money in our pockets, and the cost of used cars, new cars, insurance, energy, heating, gas, housing, mortgage rates weren't through the roof. We could afford groceries and a night out with our spouse on the town and not break the bank. Why do you think people trust Donald Trump more than you for the economy? So weird, Kamala.
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was during COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by most people's estimates, at least 200,000. He lost manufacturing plants. Ask the auto workers.
Oh, yeah. Ask the auto workers, the ones that overwhelmingly support Donald J. Trump for president. Is that the flex? Ask the people that support Donald Trump what they think. I don't know if that's a good plan. So she said Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression. Now, she got some pushback. It's like there was a pandemic. But it's so false. It's completely false. Not only was there a pandemic, but Trump left, when Trump left office, unemployment was at 6.7%. Again, because of the pandemic. The Biden administration, the Harris regime, they had no problem taking credit for those bounce back jobs. But unemployment was at 6.7% when Trump left office because of the pandemic. This rate was the same and higher in 2013 and in 2012. So Kamala Harris lying. Kamala Harris said even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs. By most people's estimate, at least 200,000 jobs were lost. Well, that's also false. Before the pandemic, there was an increase of about 400,000 manufacturing jobs under Trump. She's lying through her teeth. And again, she wants to talk about jobs. Let's talk about the jobs report, Kamala, from the Biden-Harris regime that was revised down by over 800,000 jobs. Donald Trump lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs. Well, you're lying, and you also lied when you said that you created over 800,000 jobs, and you had to go back and correct the record. We don't have time to let Kamala Harris lie to us and go back and correct the record. We just don't. We need Donald Trump back in office come November 5th. I got more from this interview on the way. She has a lot more to say about Donald J. Trump. And at one point, she says, Trump, he's just not very serious how he thinks about some of these issues. I'll bring you those issues next. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Ann, and my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they want to come see you, and they want to give you that annual tune-up, that annual maintenance on your heating system before it starts cranking. It's going to be winter before we know it. We only have 40 days until the election. Like, time is flying. And before you know it, you're going to be having your heat on. Do you want to find out it's not working the way it should be when you need it the most? Or do you want to get that preventative maintenance to keep it in tippy-toppy shape? You know what you need to do. You need to call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And while you call them, sign up to become a Beehive Club member. It pays in so many ways to sign up for the Beehive Club membership. You get that annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and cooling systems. You get added rewards and savings, like 10% off all repairs, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000. You get no overtime or holiday fees, and you get priority front-of-the-line service. It pays in so many ways to sign up for the Beehive Club, and it's only $99 if you do it before the end of September. You get a free membership for the grandparents in your life. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. They're your Rude Pro partner, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Direct hit with a storm surge up to 20 feet expected, and the charges against the New York City mayor have been unsealed. Hear his reaction coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 10:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Kamala Harris in this MSNBC interview. A lot of words. She uses a lot of words to say nothing at all. It's incredible. It's incredible. In radio, we talk about word economy. Like, get your message out, brief, keep it tight. Nobody's ever trained Kamala this way.
Oh, absolutely not. I had a caller call in earlier, and I meant to talk about this earlier when you were talking about our interview. But he said Trump should open a restaurant. Number one item on the menu, the Kamala word salad.
Honestly. Well, this item was on the menu during this interview. Stephanie Rule asked, there are a lot of Americans who don't see themselves in your plan. What do you say to them?
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future. Yeah.
While wearing a $60,000 necklace and claiming to be middle-class Cam.
But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people.
She's just recycling the same thing that she said a million times.
We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams.
Well, we used to. We used to have a lot more back when Trump was in office. But since you guys took over, those dreams, those aspirations have gotten a lot more expensive. On the way, I want to bring you some audio from Donald Trump. He was in North Carolina yesterday. He went in on Kamala Harris, and he said, don't worry, nothing is going to intimidate me. No enemy will shake me. I have never been more determined in my life. He also calls out Kamala over her saying she worked at McDonald's. All that and more next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking rain and storms from what will be remnants of Hurricane Helene here in Tennessee. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Yeah, the Florida Panhandle expecting a direct hit from Helene with a strong storm surge up to 20 feet. Here's Victor Oquendo in St. Marks, Florida.
This is shaping up to be an historic hurricane for St. Marks. I just spoke with one neighbor who told me she is petrified and is getting out of town with her family today. They've been through many storms here in 2018. Hurricane Michael brought 10 feet of storm surge, but Helene could double that, up to 20 feet. We are talking about catastrophic storm surge. You combine that with winds gusting between 100 to 115 miles per hour, and the county sheriff is warning that is an unsurvivable event for those along the coast.
A team of Tennessee first responders is in Florida to help, including the Swiftwater Rescue Team of Tennessee Task Force 2. And the charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams have just been unsealed. He is accused of bribery, soliciting improper foreign campaign contributions, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Very serious charges that expose the mayor to significant prison time if convicted. But Adams is maintaining his innocence, suggesting this is a political hit job.
It's an unfortunate day, and it's a painful day. But inside of all of that, it's a day where we will finally reveal why for 10 months I have gone through this.
Adams is now the first mayor in New York history to ever be indicted while in office. Bolstered by strong consumer spending, the nation's gross domestic product grew by 3% in the second quarter of the year, a faster pace than analysts had expected. The GDI measures the market value of all goods and services produced in the country and is often a barometer for economic health. The growth is also notable with regard to the pandemic, showing a 5.5% second quarter increase from 2020 through 2023, indicating the U.S. economy has bounced back in stronger shape than predicted. And Google Maps is aiming to crack down on businesses that post fake reviews on its platform. Here's Mike Dubusky.
Google now says it's going to temporarily remove or block profiles it suspects post misleading reviews on businesses in Google Maps. It's also planning to put warning labels next to accounts that have had multiple reviews taken down. Users will be able to appeal the decisions. Fake reviews can be used by businesses to look more appealing on Google Maps, but there's also review bombing, a coordinated effort to make a business look worse than it actually is.
And real quick, here in Nashville, Metro Police say they arrested a 22-year-old man they say has been exposing himself to women for months. They released an image of this suspect back from July 12th. He's been released on a $1,000 bond. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.1107 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Alex Clark is going to be joining the show at 11:35 to discuss the health roundtable that Senator Ron Johnson held on American health and nutrition on Monday. Alex Clark was there. So is Dr. Casey Means, Dr. Callie Means, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Heck of a panel. Alex Clark had some mic drop moments, and we're going to talk to her at 11:35. Looking forward to that conversation. Alex is she's a friend, great source of info. Her podcast, Culture Apothecary, it really deals with the health issues in America that nobody really wants to talk about. I was listening to some of her stuff last night, and like her latest episode is on breast implant illness. Like, who's talking about that? So I know we get a lot of the Red-Pilled Moms Club that listens. This is going to be an interview for them. They're going to love hearing from Alex Clark. So looking forward to that conversation at 11:35. Also looking forward to our vice presidential debate watch party. That's going to be a blast. October 1st, Tim Walz, J.D. Vance, Hop Springs, Murfreesboro, Brian Wilson's going to be doing his whole show down there live starting at 3 o'clock. Then we got myself, Mandis, Murphy. We're all going to be jumping into the fray. And Fox Nation is also going to be there as well.
We're going to be moshing.
We're going to be moshing.
Nice little mosh pit for the president, for the VP debate.
I think we have to. Our friends at the Glock store, they're going to be hooking us up with some raffle prizes as well. So you're going to win some great prizes from
These are great prizes,
our
too.
friends at the Glock store. Looking forward to that. So I said I was going to talk about Donald Trump in North Carolina last night. He had an amazing rally in North Carolina. He's been hitting all the swing states as much as he can. The battleground states, he's been in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, rotating with J.D. Vance. And Trump was in North Carolina yesterday. And it was awesome. Trump was on point, on message. He began by going straight at Kamala Harris and the record that we all know about.
And if you go back 7 weeks, was considered the worst vice president in the history of our country. Now she wants to be president. We can't let it happen. And she's a Marxist. We're not ready for a Marxist president, and we never will be. North Carolina was once the beating heart of American manufacturing. I know it very well. I was here many times to buy furniture for buildings. I'd come and I'd look, and there was nobody like the craftsmen of North Carolina. It was filled with companies like this one and known everywhere for its incredible craftsmanship and skill.
This is a recurring theme in this rally where he's talking about bringing back the furniture industry to North Carolina.
I know from personal experience, though, that I was a big buyer. I bought a lot of things here. That there was no place for furniture in particular, like North Carolina. You were the furniture capital of the world, but now so much of that business has been stolen from you, and it's made in China and other places. And by the way, it's not as good. The quality is nowhere near. You made furniture. You bought a chair. It was good for 30 years. You buy some of these chairs that they sell you now, they break after about 2 months. People are laying on the floor.
People, you buy a Chinese chair, you're going to be laying on the floor. One of the things that I really think that we need to value about Donald Trump is he tailors these speeches and meets people where they're at. Kamala Harris, if you hear her on the campaign trail, she's been regurgitating the same exact speech every single stop, every place she goes. Donald Trump is actually connecting with these people in these battleground states where they're at. He's meeting them where they're at. That's not something that Kamala Harris knows how to do. She just doesn't. She can't. Her best attempt at meeting people where they're at is trying to say, I'm from the middle class, while she wears her $60,000 necklace. And then the other one was, well, I worked at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. I'm just like you. I'm just like you, guys. I worked at McDonald's. But that they've even stopped mentioning that because it's you can't prove that she worked at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. Trump brought this up yesterday in North Carolina.
Here, Kamala's fake promises, even something like she worked very long and hard hours over French fries at McDonald's. She'd never worked at McDonald's. It was a fake story. It was a fake story. The press now refuses to write it because it's so, there's a very simple one. She said she worked at McDonald's and she didn't. Not highly sophisticated, not complicated. It was a lie. She never worked at McDonald's over the hot French fries. I think I'm going to a McDonald's in 2 weeks, actually, and I'm going to work the French fries because I will have worked longer and harder at McDonald's than she did if I do that even for half an hour.
Yeah, this guy is just so funny. He's so funny. He doesn't get enough credit for that. He's hilarious. But if Kamala Harris is willing to lie about something small, like working at McDonald's, to try and trick people into thinking that she's just an everyday Joe, middle-class Cam, then she'll lie about the big things too. She'll lie about anything. And that's the point he's illustrating here. Kamala Harris, if she'll lie to you about something small, she'll lie to you about something big. Then Trump says, he's going to be bringing back factories to North Carolina, furniture factories. And he says, this is one of the reasons that they want to kill me. This is what he says. He says that, they want to kill me because I'm trying to bring these factories back.
Once great country, soon to be greater than ever before country. All of your furniture makers are going to come back bigger and stronger and better than ever before. They're mostly gone. They're all coming back. This is why people in countries want to kill me. They're not happy with me. It's a risky business. This is why they want to kill me. They only kill consequential presidents, remember that.
So he says, they want to kill me because I'm bringing back these factories, and people will be like, oh, nobody wants to kill him because he's bringing back factories. But there's a larger point there. It's about two agendas for America, right? There's one agenda that wants us to be merged and a hybrid with the global economy, the globalist agenda. And then there's the America First agenda. And Donald Trump is about the America First agenda. So when he says this is why they want to kill me because I'm bringing back factories to North Carolina, furniture factories, he's not talking specifically about those furniture factories. He's talking about everything as a whole that he wants to do for this country to bring us back. And I think that he's right. We have a globalist agenda and we have an American First agenda. They can't mix. They don't work together. And Trump wants America first. And because of that, they're after him. This is why. That's why they're after him.
No threat.
And he says, I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not scared. I'm not worried.
No threat will shake me. No enemy will intimidate me. And I have never been more determined than I am today, and I will never back down in my fight to make America great again, which is what we're doing. No threat.
Not intimidated, not shaken, never been more determined. You love to hear that from him. I love to hear that for him. And then he drops a line here that I think that they need to really lean into this line. Because Kamala Harris, she's talking about taxing corporations, making them pay their fair share and all of this. And it's going to drive these companies out of the country. Trump says he's doing the exact opposite. He's bringing these companies back to America. And I think this line may be one of the greatest from his presidential campaign so far.
Vote Trump, and you will see a mass exodus of manufacturing from China to Pennsylvania. You haven't heard that too much. From Germany to Georgia, from South Korea to North Carolina, you're going to see a tremendous exodus the other way.
I love that. I love that. Listen, while all the Democrats have been sending our jobs and our factories, outsourcing them to other countries, Trump says it's going to be in reverse. Vote Trump, and you're going to see manufacturing go from China to Pennsylvania, from Germany to Georgia, from South Korea to North Carolina. That is such a good line, a good way of describing it, because that's where our jobs have gone. That's where they've gone. We need to bring them back. We have to bring them back. We have to. And Trump's the only one promising to do that. He's the only one promising to do that. And he brings up what Elon Musk said. He said, Elon Musk said if Trump's not elected, the country's finished. And I think a lot of people recognize that this is probably true. We'll never go back if Kamala Harris is elected. You've heard her talking about plans for mass amnesty and how she wants to grant all these newcomers citizenship. If Kamala wins, is the country finished?
$9 billion on 8 chargers. It's not going to work. And I'm all for electric. And I like Elon Musk. Elon gave me a tremendous endorsement, a very heartfelt endorsement. He feels that if I'm not elected, this country is finished. And he makes a great car, Tesla. He makes a great, great car. But you know what? If people want a Tesla, I think it's great. But they also want to have gasoline-powered cars, which is an advantage for our country because we have more gasoline than any place else. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any place else. If they want a hybrid, and nobody understands that better than Elon Musk, and he makes a great product, but not everybody wants that. They want to have choice. These people want you to go all electric within a very short period of time. Will never work. It'll never be accepted, and it's not being accepted. I will terminate that mandate on day one.
Yeah, good, and bring those car factories back. This is why union members completely support Donald Trump. He's going to get rid of the ridiculous mandates. He's promising to bring manufacturing back from China to Pennsylvania, Germany to Georgia, South Korea to North Carolina. This resonates with the American worker. Rich in the borough wants to talk about jobs overseas. What's up, Rich? You're next on Super Talk.
Yeah, you know, the thing, Chris, that we just miss continually with the jobs overseas is that these are slave labor jobs in China. And we're saying as Americans we're okay with slave labor to live a better cost or quality of life by having cheaper products. And whether it's China, whether it's Vietnam, these are underpaid people that we're taking advantage of and exploiting instead of making these things here in the U.S.
Oh, absolutely. And that's so true with a lot of the left's agenda with this stuff. It's like, you know, even the carbon emissions, we want electric cars. We got to mandate electric cars because of carbon. It's like, but we're just outsourcing our pollution. And do you know how much fossil fuels go into making a lithium battery or a windmill or solar panels? It's insane. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's slavery. And on one hand, the left will say, oh, you've got to pay reparations for slavery because what America did. On the other hand, they want to export American jobs to China and support the horrible working conditions that we've seen the reports out of the Apple factory and the other places where they have to put up nets so that people don't jump to their deaths.
Yeah, at the Foxconn factories.
They're fully in on slavery as long as they can control it and they can profit for it. The Democrat Party has always been the party of slavery, even when it comes to illegal immigration. That's why they're bringing them in for cheap jobs, that they can pay less. Look at the Haitian situation in Springfield. It's so they can import cheaper workers so that they can make more money.
Yep. Or look at the unaccompanied minors by the hundreds of thousands that have gone missing and are sold into sex slavery.
Oh, on that issue alone, it's a humanitarian issue to shut down the border with any means necessary because we're preventing a much more horrible thing. Even if we deployed the military and started shooting people, that would be less violent than what's happened to all these unaccompanied minors that have been brought in for things you don't even want to think about. There's a story there and nobody wants to cover it.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Rich, and I appreciate the call. It's 11:21 on Super Talk. On the way, 11:35, Alex Clark is joining the show. She's going to be a great interview. You're going to want to hang out for that. And I'm going to play you the highlights next from that healthcare roundtable, American Health and Nutrition with Senator Ron Johnson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that Alex Clark was a part of. Kind of give you a little bit more of a backstory on what happened there before we talk to Alex. But first, I got to tell you about my friends at the Glock Store. We love the guys at the Glock Store. You've been hearing us talk about the Glock Store and how they love parties. And you've also been hearing us talk about the VP Debate Watch Party this Tuesday, October 1st at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. Well, the Glock Store called us and said, hey, it's not a party without party prizes, so can we do a raffle at the event? And we were like, yeah, absolutely. You guys give away great prizes. And they replied, okay, bet. Third prize, tactical rehydration mug. This is a mug with a real AR handle. I've never seen it before, but it is awesome. I saw a picture of it today. So cool. And then they said, all right, second prize, a 3-session range card. You've heard me talking about training in the private rooms at the Glock Store with a private instructor. A 3-session range card, I'm having a tough time justifying this being second place because you learn so much in these private sessions. And then they said for the grand prize, they're going to give away a Glock 43X MOS. It's only the most popular Glock in the country. That's what the Glock Store is giving away at our debate watch party at Hop Springs on October 1st. And then Lenny McGill is going to be announcing the winner himself on Murphy's show Wednesday, October 2nd. There's going to be raffle posters at the debate watch party with QR codes all over the event and at the Glock Store table. They'll be there to help you enter if you need it. Now, we really know why they always say there ain't no party like a Glock Store party. They're minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Tennessee search and rescue crews staging in Florida to help after Hurricane Helene, and Trump assassination investigation task force holds its first hearing in the Senate. Coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. You may have remembered yesterday, if you were here at the same time, we talked about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Senator Ron Johnson. They held a full roundtable discussion on American health and nutrition. And that was on Monday. And it was pretty cool, man. You know, they had a 4-hour talk, and there was no mentions of Democrats and no mentions of Republicans. It was just bipartisan discussion on what's going on with our food. What's going on with our medical industry? What is going on? We have all these ingredients in our American food supply that are banned in other countries, yet we're allowed to have them here. We have these doctors that seem to be more concerned with treating the symptoms as opposed to the cause, and a system built around that profits off of it. So you need to have this conversation, but of course, people are going to lash out. They're going to swing back. And the Atlantic did just that. The Atlantic put out a hit piece attacking RFK's health event. They called it the woo-woo caucus, which was, it's kind of funny because in the article, they just attacked everyone personally and didn't attack any of the information. Because, huge shocker, You can't attack the information. The information that they brought to the table was sound and on point. This is just a little bit of the highlights from that event.
Cigarette companies are the highest payers of scientists, one of the biggest employers of scientists to make the cigarettes addictive. They move these addiction specialists to the food department by the thousands, and those scientists weaponize our ultra-processed food.
The problem is most people don't know that what they're consuming is making them sick. They know junk food is bad, but they don't realize it's causing chronic disease, and neither do their healthcare providers.
Certain demographics are hit harder than others. For example, Black Americans consume on average 80% of their calories from ultra-processed foods. But make no mistake, all Americans are under attack, and it's costing us dearly.
American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version, and this is the brightness of artificial food dyes.
Now, I know you couldn't see that because we're on the radio, but I'm retweeting it. This is from Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter. Jordan Peterson was there in attendance as well. Dr. Casey Means, Dr. Callie Means, Alex Clark was there as well. And you need to see it to believe it. It's truly shocking. Alex Clark was catching some flack for this statement that she made towards the end of the round table. And we're going to talk to her about this statement next. Listen to this.
In 1985, newborn millennials had to follow a schedule of just a handful of vaccines. Today, a child following the recommended vaccine schedule will receive up to 70 shots by the time they turn 18.
That's crazy, right? That's wild. Those are things you're not allowed to say. Riley Gaines tweeted yesterday, don't forget, it's government injection season. It sure is. And you're not allowed to talk about it in a negative way. Alex Clark is fearless, and she's going to join the show next to give us her perspective on that round table with Ron Johnson, RFK, American Health and Nutrition, a second opinion. That happens right after the news with Ken Weaver, which starts now on Super Talk.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Tracking rain and storms ahead of Hurricane Helene. It is going to mean rain and storms here in Middle Tennessee. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, a swiftwater rescue team from Tennessee is in Florida to help with Hurricane Helene search and rescues and damage assessments.
It's a very physically and mentally demanding situation. These are folks that love to help out like this. It's just part of who they are, and they're always ready to go.
That's Jill Bergen with the Williamson County Emergency Management Agency telling News 2 the crew is in the Panhandle area, expecting a direct hit with a storm surge up to 20 feet. A bipartisan congressional task force investigating the assassination attempts against former President Trump holding its first hearing today.
Why in the world would you let former President Trump go out onto that platform if you weren't sure it was secure? That's the whole purpose of why the Secret Service was there. Thankfully, President Trump survived this near-death experience. Mr. Competore did not.
That is Chairman Congressman Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania during his opening remarks. This task force also investigating this month's Secret Service arrest of a man with a rifle on Trump's Florida golf course. And right now in Nashville, Metro Police say they arrested a man who's been exposing himself to women for months. The first time was at the Target store on Old Hickory Boulevard in Brentwood on July 12th. The man was booked into the Metro jail, charged with 1 count of indecent exposure, 2 counts of public indecency, then released on a $1,000 bond. And the charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams have been unsealed, accused of bribery, soliciting improper foreign campaign contributions, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Very serious charges that expose the mayor to significant prison time if convicted. He's maintaining his innocence.
My day-to-day will not change. I will continue to do the job for 8.3 million New Yorkers that I was elected to do.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
In 1985, newborn millennials had to follow a schedule of just a handful of vaccines. Today, a child following the recommended vaccine schedule will receive up to 70 shots by the time they turn 18, including 27 before he or she turns 2, and as many as 6 shots in a single visit. Are all these shots producing healthier kids? According to the data, no. Are we allowed to even ask? Also, no. Some parents who've asked too many questions about the recommended vaccine schedule can find themselves reported to Child Protection Services. Or they will get kicked out of their pediatrician's office for not being compliant. This is America, the land of the free. Parents are being held hostage. They did not sign up to co-parent with the government. We want a divorce.
That was Alex Clark on Monday, giving a barn burner of a statement at the roundtable discussion on American health and nutrition, A Second Opinion. Joining us now on the Newsmaker hotline on Super Talk 99.7 WTN is Alex Clark. She's the host of Culture Apothecary. She's a Turning Point USA contributor, friend of the show. Alex, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so fired up.
Well, all right. Tell me about this roundtable. Tell me about why it's so important, and then I want to ask you some questions about the hit piece that got put out on you by The Atlantic as well.
Yeah, so we just held a historic Senate testimony in Washington, D.C. on Monday. This was led by Senator Ron Johnson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and we had everyone from Harvard-trained psychiatrists on to former food and pharmaceutical consultants, Stanford doctors, just like a myriad of different people, nutritionists, just raising the alarm on the all-out war that's happening against our children, essentially. I mean, everybody's health is under attack in America thanks to food and pharma, but especially the kids. That's something that everybody can agree on and should be concerned about. And so we all got together to basically just bring to Washington, D.C. and get the most amount of press possible about how dire the current situation is, and how future elections will not even matter if nobody is alive to vote. So that was what we were trying to do there, and I mean, I think we accomplished it. People are talking about this now in the last couple of days after more than ever before. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's been going viral nonstop. I mean, that clip that is of you talking about the vaccine schedule is just huge. How did we get to this spot? How did we find ourselves in a place in America where it feels like the food industrial complex and the medical industrial complex are working in concert against the American people?
Yeah, so a lot of this started when the food companies bought the scientists from the cigarette companies in the 80s. That was when the Surgeon General came out. They said, hey, cigarettes cause cancer. They're hazardous to your health. People started ditching cigarettes. And then you had all of these people that were skilled in knowing how to get people addicted, that the food companies were like, hey, why don't you take those same skills and apply it to ultra-processed food? We have all of these crops that we're needing to put somewhere, the soy, the wheat, the corn, let's put that into ultra-processed food and then let's make it super, super addictive. And they did. They accomplished that. They spent the late 80s and then all of the 90s doing that. And you can see, which I talk about in my full speech, you can watch on the Real Alex Clark YouTube channel, it's like 10 minutes, you can watch the whole thing. But I break down throughout the 90s how you see the correlation. All of the health starts declining in kids in my generation, which is millennials.
Yep.
And then, of course, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's all because of that. It's all because of money and greed, which shouldn't be surprising to anybody. And this is a nonpartisan issue. So the people that were on this panel in the Senate on Monday, I have no idea. Some of them were liberal, some of them were conservative. I don't even know. It was never discussed. But it was a nonpartisan panel of people from all different political views coming together saying, we have had enough. And then in particular, I was being the voice of American moms saying that they have had enough, because I'm not an expert. I am just a podcaster. I have a health and wellness podcast, Culture Apothecary, but my audience are 25 to 35-year-old young moms, first-time moms. And so I just was like, you know what? I have the opportunity to speak on this panel, and I'm just going to do it on behalf of them. I know what their concerns are. I know what their gripes are, and I'm just going to be that voice for them.
No, I'm grateful that you are. And it does seem like we need to wake people up to what's happening in the medical industry and the food industry. I'm curious, what red pilled you on this industry? What was your wake-up moment that made you realize, okay, everything we're being sold is a bit off?
So there was a couple things that happened in succession for me right around the end of the pandemic. Of course, one, mandating the COVID-19 vaccine was extremely weird to me. I didn't. I had never really paid attention before. And I've been conservative my entire life, grew up in a very conservative home, well-versed in other political issues, but food, pharma, this is just not on my radar. I don't think before the pandemic it was on a lot of conservatives' radar. If it was for you, then you were way ahead of the game. But that was very shocking to me and disturbing to me when we were all told, you can't participate in public life if you don't get this shot. And then I started looking into, what other things has the pharmaceutical industry gotten wrong that they were telling us was safe when it wasn't. And that's when I came across two things that really stood out were the hormonal birth control pill for women and the pill OxyContin. That was, of course, promoted by Purdue Pharma and is the main cause of the opioid epidemic that has absolutely devastated our country and killed hundreds of thousands of people. So those were two things that we were told, no side effects. It's only for the greater good. This is amazing. With the OxyContin pill, it was non-addictive. With the birth control pill, it's just like, this is just really going to make women equal. Women were never really given informed consent about how it increases your rate of anxiety, depression, 80%, just, a slew of problems, makes you attracted to different types of men on the pill versus off. So we're choosing different mates than we would if we were not on this pill. Like, there's just so many things I could say, but those two things really shocked me. And then what happened was I was thinking, man, big pharma, that's so interesting. I wonder if there's something else where industries really control the narrative and buy the studies and things like that to make money. And then I stumbled upon big food. And when I found out that basically 5 food companies control the entire food supply in the United States, it was an out-of-body experience, one of the most shocking radicalizations I've ever gone through in my entire adult life thus far, and has changed my life, because then I realized this is the most important issue to be talking about, because like I said earlier, politics don't matter. Nothing matters if we don't have a country, because everybody is too sick or cannot think to participate in society.
Yeah, and I love that this is a big issue for you. And when I was listening to the round table, one of the things that stuck out for me was Dr. Callie Means saying, the studies on processed food, the ones that aren't funded by the food companies show that processed food is terrible for you. But the ones that are funded by the food companies say, hey, processed food's fine. Don't worry about it. Is that happening like a lot?
Oh, yeah, the whole industry. This is why it was important, and why I had such righteous anger in my speech on behalf of moms, because you can't get information because the food companies are buying the studies that the doctors are being taught in school, if they're taught nutrition at all. And then also all the nutrition schools. Look at what the who's paying for the studies in Tufts Nutrition School, for example. It's all the food companies. That's why you have Tufts Nutrition School coming out with things saying like, Lucky Charms are healthier than ground beef. This is where it comes to, as a parent, using common sense, or anybody, not even just a parent, but using common sense. Does it make sense to you that Lucky Charms would be healthier than ground beef? No. So right there, that tells you something isn't right. But the news stations, even, most of their advertising is coming from pharma, who's in bed with big food. So the choices that news stations are making when it comes to what they're going to report stories on, it's all compromised. And that's why the obesity epidemic is so much more complex, and people are just lazy and they don't move enough. There's not enough movement in American life today, for sure. But bigger than that, the entire system is rigged. So what people think is healthy isn't. What they're told is healthy isn't. They're not given true information. So it's a lot harder for people to understand what food is healthy and which should be avoided because of all these problems. And so that's what this roundtable was about, was holding these people accountable and demanding change and telling politicians, we need everybody to come together on this, Democrat and Republican.
Yeah, and it shows that you guys are over the target when immediately after the roundtable, The Atlantic puts out a hit piece and they call you the woo-woo caucus, and they say the information isn't wrong, but these people are crazy. What was that like when you see the hit piece? Is it kind of like a badge of honor at this point?
Oh, I loved it. I've been telling everybody I'm a proud member of the Woo Woo Caucus. And yes, he couldn't, the author of that article could not say what we said specifically was wrong. She just said we're all conservative right-wingers, which again, I just said was not true. Not all of us were conservative on that panel. She said that we were just on a mission to make Fruit Loops boring again. Interesting. I guess so. I guess we're trying to make Fruit Loops boring by demanding that Kellogg's removes artificial dyes that, by the way, they have already done in every other country. They even make the non-artificial dye versions in the United States, but they give our kids poison that we know causes behavior issues, carcinogens, causes cancer, all of these different things. Our kids get it, but they're willing to make the same product better here, and then they give it to other countries. All we're saying is we want American kids to be equal to those everywhere else in the world. But right now, our government and our three-letter agencies are allowing them to get away with this just because of money. It's insane.
Yep.
It's demented. It's disturbing. And the fact that the Atlantic put an article out slamming that and making fun of us and saying we were the woo-woo caucus for drawing attention to this, I'm not sure if the Atlantic hates children. I can't speak for them, but it is a question worth asking.
That's hilarious. I tell my kids all the time, you don't see commercials for healthy food. There's never a commercial for bananas, and you don't need cartoon characters on stuff that's good for you. You just don't. So that's like kind of our rule of thumb when we go to the grocery store. One of the best lines from the round table was, if the grocery store has a health section, what does it say about the rest of the grocery store? It's so true. So I have a whole portion of my audience that we like to call the Red Pilled Moms Club. And I feel like the Red Pilled Moms Club would love your new podcast. How can they find this podcast, and what are you guys talking about on it this week?
Yeah, so my podcast is called Culture Apothecary because every guest I have on is bringing their own unique remedy to heal a sick culture. And that could be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. So I do 2 episodes a week, Mondays and Thursdays. Tonight, we have a brand new episode with Carolyn Call from Just Ingredients. If you follow her on Instagram, she's huge, millions of followers, helping moms understand how to read ingredient labels. So you can find my podcast, Culture Apothecary, anywhere you listen, Spotify, Apple, anywhere else, Google Play. You can watch each episode. They're beautiful shot, multi-camera shows. And that's Real Alex Clark on YouTube. I'm also Real Alex Clark on Instagram. But yeah, Culture Apothecary, every guest is an expert on any of these subjects. So you will absolutely love my podcast if you like that snippet that Chris just played on the show of my my roundtable speech at the United States Senate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've watched a couple of the episodes. It's a fantastic job. I think you're doing God's work, and I appreciate you doing it. And I'll see you in December at AmFest in Phoenix.
That's right. Yeah, come to America Fest. We can talk food and pharma corruption in person.
I love it. Alex Clark, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us, Alex. Appreciate you.
Always. Thanks, Chris.
Yep, it's 11:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So I said to Murphy, I said, did you listen to the Amigos this morning? And you know what he said to me? He said he didn't listen. He didn't listen to this one this morning.
I did not.
So you haven't heard about the return of the sausages?
I have not.
Well, you're about to find out.
He hesitantly says.
All right. Cut that music, because this is serious.
Okay.
Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, calls for the return of the sausages in Gaza.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages. The hostages. Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.
We added the sad piano and violin.
I'm so sorry.
All right, let's do it without the sad violin. We did it in reverse order. Sad violin always comes second.
Okay.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.
If he wasn't British and he didn't have the proper accent, it wouldn't be as
really
good.
Makes it better.
If this was like
the return of the sausages.
If this was Clive from Shelbyville, it would have been a 6 on the funny scale. But that British accent brings it up to like an 11. You know what I mean?
Bring back the sausages.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages. The hostages.
Just didn't pause. The sausages. The hostages. I have made a complete arse of myself.
It's so good. I got another
He did. He made an arse of himself.
I got another thing to play for you real quick.
Have you noticed you can say arse and nobody gets mad at you?
Nobody gets mad. It's the extra letters.
Right? And
you can do it with any swear word. If you add an extra letter, you're safe.
I feel like the Brits can get away with the cursing in a way that we cannot get away with the cursing because
it
does.
It sounds classy.
It really does.
All right, here. This is an episode of Kids Say the Darndest Things in 2024.
Sausages.
CNN aired this. Are you ready for this?
All right, let's go.
They're talking about kids in politics.
What year is this?
2024.
Okay. All right, we're ready.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris? Liar.
That's my boy.
Nailed it. Oh, that's got to be a hand. That's got to be.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris? Liar.
Now, see, immediately they're calling Family and Children Services on this family because they're like, obviously, these parents are abusing these children.
My daughter would have said, woke trash. That's what my daughter would have said. What's coming up on the show, Murph?
We have, speaking of hostages, we have someone that was in Israel who was a part of the October 7th event, the October 7th massacre, coming in studio with us at 1 o'clock today.
Kidding.
So I'm very excited about having a conversation with them. Aaron Goldbranson with the Tennessee Faith and Freedom Coalition, bringing them into town and bringing them into the studio. That's at 1 o'clock. We're going to break down Kamala Harris's ridiculous conversation with a MSNBC fangirl coming up at 12. So.
All that and more on the way with Murphy on Super Talk.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the name Kamala Harris? Liar. What's the first word that pops